this is Jonathan Taglione, and welcome to Positive Approach Counseling's 7th video. Today we're going to be talking about the drama triangle and how it affects healthy relationships. So, this was created by Stephen Chapman in 1968, and basically he created a triangle that analyzes how conflict develops in relationships. And what he discovered is that there were 3 areas that causes conflict. It's when someone acts as the victim, and then there is somebody who acts like the persecutor, and then there's also finally somebody who acts like the rescuer. These 3 roles affect healthy relationships dramatically, that it causes conflict and it also causes miscommunication, distrust. So let's pretend that you're sitting at a campfire watching 3 people. One of them acts like a victim, the other one acts like the persecutor, and the other one acts like the rescuer. How would this work out? Would look something like this. So the victim starts complaining about his personal situation and how nothing really goes right for him, and how he feels completely self-defeated, and how he tries to attempt something and nothing that he does is right. So what the persecutor would do is point out everything that he or she has done that's completely wrong, and starts like positing solutions in the effect of like, you need to do this, you should do this, basically tearing them down, shaming them, and also not having a developed trust relationship when you do that. When you act like a persecutor in this relationship, it causes you to become more angry toward the victim, the person who acts like the victim, because the thing about it is that they're not doing what you say. And the more that you do this, the more that you are going to get angry, you're going to get frustrated, and you're going to probably think to yourself, well, obviously this person doesn't really care with what I have to say, so I'm just going to wash my hands completely of him or her and the situation and not really talk to him anymore. That doesn't help. Also, it doesn't help to become the rescuer in this relationship too. Now, when someone who is the rescuer, I want you to think again about that campfire and how the rescuer would see the interaction between the persecutor and the victim. The rescuer would probably do one of 2 things: point out the flaws that the persecutor has, or basically fight the victim's battles for them, and not let the victim defend or take care of themselves. Now, here's the thing. When you act like a rescuer with the victim, the problem is that the victim is always going to expect you to take care of all their problems. This is 100% not healthy, because the thing about it is that the victim gets secondary gain. Oh, I don't have to do anything because so-and-so is going to take care of it. This is completely unhealthy. And on top of that, if you're acting like a rescuer to somebody, you're hindering the victim's own personal growth when it comes to dealing with issues in life, conflict, and self-confidence, and knowing that they can get the job done. The victim is somebody who feels self-defeated, somebody who thinks that everything that I've done is wrong and I don't know how to get out of this. So one of the best things that you can do to get yourself out of the victim role, out of the persecutor role, out of the rescuer role, I'll explain. Okay, so if you are a victim, the biggest thing that you have to do is start recognizing your own actions and your own behavior, and start taking accountability for the problems in your life. And what you're going to do is you're going to have to develop small goals to build up your self-confidence in order to make yourself feel better about yourself emotionally. Whenever somebody goes through the victim role, it's important that you establish goals so that you can get yourself out of your own self-defeating thought process. The best way to do this is start using SMART goals. Now, the acronym is specific, measurable, attainable, reasonable, and timely. And if you want more information on that, please drop a like button, comment on our channel, and leave a comment so that I can develop a video on that for you. Okay, so when you're a victim, start taking accountability for your own actions. Start developing small goals to raise your self-confidence, and also don't become so reliable on somebody else taking care of the problem, because like I said, it doesn't help you at all in the long run. You're always going to expect somebody else to take care of your own issues, and it's going to develop codependency on you, and it's going to continue that negative thought process of you saying to yourself, I can't take care of things on my own. I've got to rely on somebody else because they're better at it than I. And you know, that is not healthy. Okay, so how do you get yourself out of the persecutor role? Well, that's going to take a lot of effort on the persecutor. And basically what you need to do is, instead of looking at the situation, oh, he's never going to do what I say, or he's never going to, you know, become better even though I've given him solutions to not, the best thing that you got to do is step away from the situation, analyze why this is so important to you, and maybe change the way how you interact with them, which is very important. Look at yourself as like their rival, if that makes sense, or encourage, like, you know, a positive rival relationship between each other. So how would that look like? Would probably be something like this. Okay, so he acts self-defeated. What is something that he's really good at that I can challenge him on? And then I'm going to use that in order to try to encourage him to be better through specific set challenges that I can put in his way. Now, if you do that, you know, it's gonna help him or her become a lot more stronger and give him set challenges so that he can develop his own self-confidence. And the important thing that you got to remember is that when you start getting angry, it's important that you take an emotional step back. Don't end the relationship. Don't cut him off completely. Just challenge him, you know, to do things. And recognize that if he doesn't accept the challenge, it's not on you to make his life better. It's on him or her to improve his situation. And also another thing that you've got to do is you've got to set boundaries with him or her and say, listen, I'm getting angry right now, and I think it's very important that I excuse myself from this conversation because I've heard of it so many times. I think it's best that, you know, I take a break, and or we really need to talk about something else because I'm feeling very angry at this point. Always be aware of your anger level, because that's what, you know, when someone falls into the persecutor role, that is what most likely is going to happen. So be very self-aware of that. And another thing is that if you fall into the rescuer role, it's very important that you realize that, you know, you're not their superhero, and you have some issues that you probably need to analyze in order to get over this, because think about it. If you fall into the superhero role, one of your biggest things is that you're focusing on somebody else's problem and not really focusing on your own issues. This can get very difficult for you. And one of the things is that you've got to remember is that you can't take care of anybody but yourself. It's important that you analyze and you need to focus on yourself, but if you're trying to help somebody else, recognize that you can't be their hero. All you can do is be their teacher. And one of the things that you've got to recognize is that old saying, if you teach a man to fish, he's going to be fed for the rest of his life. So educate him, teach him, show him that, you know, you are not going to 100% take care of the problem, that you are actually going to, you know, be supportive, but also educate him and get him and encourage him to try other ways of thinking, or, you know, other ways of doing things in order to help him or her, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's the end of our video. Like I said, please drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment on our channel. My name is Jonathan Taglione, and please find your positive approach.